Los Angeles Rams, New Orleans Saints preview. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope your Thanksgiving was fantastic. Today, after further reviews, the backdrop, Matt Moscona, and of course me, the face of the franchise, doing what only I can do. Today we're going to talk about the New Orleans Saints and Los Angeles Rams game. Huge game, December 1st in the Superdome. I will be there, Dome Dogs in both pockets. Season on the line. Darren Rizzi job on the line. It's all right there for us, okay? Reminiscent of last season, where it was all there for us, where we had to go Thursday Night Football, beat the Rams to make the playoffs, win the division, all that, and we got absolutely embarrassed. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. We are in a better situation this time, better coach, better offensive coordinator, and in the Dome. And situationally, the scheduling is really bad for the Rams. Rams had a couple primetime games. Rams are playing the Saints. Saints are off a bye week. The Rams also have had a couple West Coast, East Coast, and back trips. They had to play the New England Patriots. They had to play the Miami Dolphins. They had to, go all over the place, whether it was in New England, whether it was in LA to play the Dolphins, whether it was primetime, whether it was noon. So they're all over the place. Now, the issue with the Saints is the Rams still have Puka Nacua. The Rams still have Cooper Kupp. The Rams still have Matthew Stafford, and the Rams still have Sean McVay.
Saints are finally back at it after the bye. They'll take on the Rams, who it's been really a tale of two seasons so far for the Rams. They started 1-4, then they won 4 of their next 5. But what a walloping at the hands of the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Sarah Barshop is there for all of it. ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Rams joins us now. Sarah, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
How's it going, Sarah?
Doing fantastic.
I'll get some
how big of a setback was Sunday night against the Rams? Or excuse me, against the Eagles.
I think it showed kind of where the team is, right? Like they might be competing in this division because it's pretty close. I think every team has 5 losses, or at least 5 losses. But it showed, a really good NFC team in the Eagles. They're not there yet. So a step back, but obviously the conversation in the locker room after game at the podium with Sean McVay was got to learn from this because clearly they're running out of time to figure out how to be consistent, especially on offense.
The Eagles. It's funny when you watch the Eagles and the Ravens too, because they show you something, and if you cannot stop it, they're just going to dominate you with it. Like the Eagles say, "Hey, let's see if you can stop Saquon Barkley. If you cannot stop him, he will run for 200-something yards." The Ravens, "Hey, can you stop Derrick Henry?" No. Okay, well, he's going to run for 300 yards. So it's just crazy how they operate.
At the point where they are at the same level as some of these elite teams in the NFC.
Let's talk about the inconsistency. When they started 1-4, what went so wrong?
Injured, banged up, just a multitude of issues across a multitude of positions.
I think it was injuries at the start of the season. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, but then those injuries on the offensive line, Jonah Jackson, Steve Avila. And they never had that consistency just in terms of who was on the field for the offense. So I think that's where it started early in the season.
Was the 4-1 stretch subsequent just a product of the team getting healthy?
Yes.
I think so. But even in that, you look at that game in Miami or against Miami at home on Monday Night Football, they were inconsistent. And they've scored 2 touchdowns in first.
Yeah, I mean, they were awful in the red zone. Awful in the red zone.
Quarters this season. So I think it's probably a combination of, yes, they have gotten healthy, but they still have a long way to go, and they really don't have answers because when we ask, why is it inconsistent, the answer is just, well, it's execution. And so they're obviously still figuring out how to fix that.
Saquon went for over 250 on Sunday Night Football. We all saw it. And there's a lot of people here kind of licking their chops a little bit with the Saints having a bye and run game getting going a little bit as the Saints line has gotten healthy. Is the Rams' run defense really that bad?
I don't think so.
It's not 256 yards bad. We can check DVOA, though. DVOA has the Rams as the 23rd rush defense. Now, again, you're talking about coming off the heels of giving up 200-something yards to Saquon Barkley. So, of course, the analytics are not going to look great after that. But they are 23rd. For comparison, the New Orleans Saints are 31st. Good Lord have mercy. Not good.
Early in the season, this defense as a whole struggled. It's a very young defense after Aaron Donald retired this offseason. A lot of first and second year guys, especially in the front 7. And then I think they looked a little bit better. And then obviously what Saquon Barkley did is something that I think he hasn't done that to every team they've played, but I think it's very clear that he's a good player. So I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. I don't know that the run defense is the strength of this defense, but I don't think they are what they showed on Sunday against the Eagles.
We'll get right back to the video. Want to take a quick minute to remind you about our friends over at BetUS, our great partners during this football season here at AFR. Saints still got that great deal. You can get a the strength of the Rams defense.
I think it is that front seven. Obviously, it didn't show, and we talked to a lot of guys in the locker room after the game. Kobe Turner was saying, we weren't that sound, made a lot of mistakes. Jared Verse said everyone was kind of.
Jared Verse is the man. I wanted the Saints to draft him, or he was one of the prospects I threw out there. I'm fine with Tulise Fuaga, but Jared Verse is the man. I love how they give up 250 yards to Saquon. They're like, yeah, I don't know. We weren't very sound out there today. It's like, no shit there, my boy.
Kind of trying to make a play, and that's kind of where he put it on him. I don't know how much of that is true, but immediately after the game, he was saying, that was on me. We need to play better, that kind of thing. But I do think the strength is that young front seven, and you look at Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, Bobby Brown. They have a lot of talent there, and in the middle of the season during that winning streak, I think we saw how good they can be.
If you flip it over to the offensive side, Matthew Stafford obviously has been a great player, and I think probably he's heading for the Hall of Fame someday. At what level would you say that Matthew Stafford is playing right now relative to his career? He's an aging player. We all
high, playing at a high level. Stafford is dealing. Stafford is the man. He can absolutely still spin the pill. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, sweet AF. Now, we talked about the defensive line for the Rams, and the Saints are going to want to run the football. That is the thing to watch. If you want to go ahead and put a little Post-it note on your TV, things to watch, do the Saints have success running the football early and often? There you go. That's pretty much it. If the Saints can find success running the football, this game will be close. They will have a chance to win this game. If the Saints can't run the football and they can't stop Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, turn it off, watch something else, do something else, because it's going to get ugly quick.
Understand, he's a great player, but what capacity is he still?
I still think he's very good, and I think a lot of that is just how mentally good he is at this game, at facing defensive. His teammates talk about how his knowledge makes such a big difference for this offense. Just the defense he's seeing, stuff like that, his relationship with Cooper Kupp and the time they've put together on the field. I think he's still very good. But again,
Stafford reminds me of Brady, where when Brady got older, his arm. It's an insane day downtown New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen. I got rocket booster cars driving up and down Canal Street. They're pressure washing the building. So I've had people spraying down the side of this building all day. I'm in here trying to be the face of the franchise, trying to put out videos to the millions. And I got basically someone like Spider-Man rappelling down the high-rise studio where I do all this, and they're just spraying the window. If I had the window open, I'd drowned. Tom Brady got better. His arm got better with age. I mean, he was throwing the ball as good or better than he had ever thrown in his entire career towards the end there. Peyton Manning, total opposite. He could barely throw at all at the end. Drew Brees, total opposite. Could barely throw at all at the end. Matthew Stafford reminds me of Brady where, yeah, he's getting older, but his arm is just as good now as it has ever been. I mean, he can really spin it.
Again, he's been part of the reason this offense has been so inconsistent. Now, it takes all 11, which is the thing that is said, time and time and again in the locker room. But you look at him, he's 4 touchdowns and then no touchdowns the next week. And I think part of that is the offense in general. The running game has been inconsistent as well. But I don't think he looks like the Matthew Stafford that came on at the end of last season when they went on that run. But I don't think these issues are because of the way he's played just by himself.
So then, and Sarah Barshop is with us, ESPN NFL Nation reporter, covers the Rams. When the offense has kind of been stuck in the mud, and that's happened a little bit to this team this year. Some of it, I'm sure, would be injuries with Nacua and Kupp, like you mentioned. But when the offense has struggled, what has sort of been the impetus for that?
Well, just like many Shanahan-style offenses, it's when they can't run the football. It's if they have turnovers or missed field goals, things like that, and then they have to get away from their game plan. Any of these systems, whether it's the Saints, whether it's the 49ers, whether it's the Rams, whether it's the Dolphins, whether it's the Vikings, they want to control the game. They want to efficiently control the game, whether that's tempo, whether that's, whatever. If things start to go awry and you start seeing penalties, you start seeing turnovers, you start seeing missed field goals, all of a sudden it unravels really quickly. And it feels like that's what happens to the Rams. It feels like they're dominating the game, and then missed field goal here, turnover here, failure in the red zone here, boom, game's over. And that's what happened to Philly, or against Philly.
It's when they get behind the sticks, right? Like a first play, loss of yards or a penalty, and then, that's what Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay have said. Well, then it's execution. It's harder to execute when the defense has more of an idea of what's coming. Some of it is the run game has slowed down a little bit. So I think, look, the truth is if they knew the answer, I don't know that they'd be in this position. But I think a lot of it is just getting behind and in the sticks specifically and just having a hard time getting back on track.
This is why I'm on a whole nother level. They got to bring beat reporters on from Los Angeles. I'm rattling this stuff off no problem. I could cover all 32 teams like it's absolutely nothing. Why? Because I watch every single second of every single game. Okay, you got national people on national channels on Fox Sports and ESPN or whatever. They don't even know who's on what team. They don't even know who's playing quarterback. I recently saw a Fox Sports host still say that Matt Ryan was on the Falcons. What are we doing?
The line on this game's 2.5. It's been 3. I think it's bumped down just a little bit. That could indicate you could be talking about a field goal game. Joshua Carty's in his first season with the Rams. If it comes down to a kick, how confident are you he makes it?
I think pretty confident. It's been interesting. You talk about that inconsistency. He missed from 26 2 weeks ago. The week before that, he went 5 for 6. It would have been 6 for 6 if it wasn't for a false start. That pushed them pretty far out of field goal range. After that, the Patriots game, Sean McVay said, he didn't have a lot of confidence in the operation that game. And he said it wasn't just Carty, but in general, that's why he went for it on fourth down on a play. And we asked him about it this past week and said, do you still have confidence? He said yes. But of course, Carty had, again, another miss. So I think he will make it. I think it helps that indoors, but it's been an interesting season for the rookie kicker.
Hey, Sarah, if Sean McVay has a blueprint to win Sunday in the Dome, what does it look like?
Run the football. Same blueprint as always. Run the football, get Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp involved. The Saints' pass defense is garbage, and it has been garbage. Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns lit us up. So he's going to try and run it. He's going to try and cook us with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and that's it. That's the move, and that's the entire thing. So we know what's coming. We know what the job is. Can the Saints do it? Can the Saints execute it? We're going to need the biggest game ever from Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'll tell you that.
I think it's getting that run game going early, not being in these obvious passing downs, and just being able to.
Well, good news. Saints have a good run defense, so damn.
Show what we've seen at times as this offense keeps going, putting that together, and then not turning the ball over. That's been something. There's only been 2 games this year where they have not turned the ball over, and both of them were wins. So obviously takeaways, win games, but I think that's something specifically. Kyren Williams not fumbling, Matthew Stafford not throwing an interception will go a long way for them.
Sarah Barshop, you can get her on Twitter, X at Sarah Barshop, spelled just like it sounds. ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Rams. Sarah, we appreciate it. Safe travel.
Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate that. All right, let's look at the DVOA. So if we're at defensive, let's just cover the whole thing, shall we? So the Saints are 22nd. The Rams are 23rd. Pretty close there. Pass defense, the Rams are 22nd. The Saints are Well, this is going to be skewed now because this is going to be some Marshawn thrown in there. 15th against the pass, against the rush. We already looked at this. The Rams are 23. Saints are 31st. Yuck. Offensive DVOA. The New Orleans Saints are offensively the 16th best team. The Rams are the 14th. Very close. This is going to be a very, very good game. I sounded like Borat right there. All right, rank on the pass offense is the Saints are, well, the Rams are 13. Where are the Hoodats? The Hoodats are 23. Need to be better there, my boys, but that is a lot of Spencer Rattler, so is what it is. The rushing offense, the Rams are 14th. The Saints, 8th. There you go. Good stuff there. And then total DVOA, just for hoops and giggles, we are, the Rams are 20th. Saints are 18th. All right. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's, can we stop 3 guys? And can we run the football? It looks like we'll be able to. I mean, that's it. You know, like, it's a tough game. It's a winnable game. The schedule greatly gives us the advantage. I think it's going to be tight. I think if you can find, just a little betting at the end here, if you can find Saints +3, I think you play Saints +3. The line should probably be somewhere closer to like a 1.5, 2. On a neutral, I think you could say Rams. I think -2.5, -3. So I think the number is a couple points off, because I think you give the Saints like 1.5-ish, 1.75, somewhere in there for home field. So if it's 3 on a neutral, you can do the math. But I don't think if this game was in LA, I don't think the Rams are laying 5, 5.5, 6. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a tick high. I think it's just a tick high, ladies and gentlemen. I would, you know. So I will be playing the Saints if I can find the 3. But it's all in front of us. Whole thing. We got to have a good performance. What I do not want to happen is the Saints go out there and get absolutely mollywopped. That's what I do not want. I do not want us to go out there, talk about this game, plan everything out, get excited. We show up. Oh, it's 21-0. Next thing I know, I got French fries and Bloody Marys all over the place. So I don't want that to happen. I want it to be a close game. I want us to have our best foot forward. I want us to be able to run the football. I want us to be able to be creative and you know, show what this offense can do. I don't want, because all of a sudden we're playing the Rams and not the Browns, I don't want this like, oh, we got to be conservative, or oh, we got to kind of shrink the playbook. I don't want that. Let it all out there. Let it all out there. And if we win this game, whoo, baby, it's all happening. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Who's going to win? What's the final score? All of that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.